The whale song, the songbird singing its call in the bough of a wind-shaken tree. We are creatures of constant awe, curious at beauty, at leaf and blossom, at grief and pleasure, sun and shadow. And it is not darkness that unites us, not the cold distance of space, but the offering of water. Each drop of rain, each rivulet, each pulse, each vein. Oh, second moon, we too are made of water, of vast and beckoning seas. We too are made of wonders, of great and ordinary loves, of small invisible worlds, of a need to call out through the dark.
We had a little bit of technical difficulties there. The package paused a little bit, but I still think that you could really feel how powerful that piece is. And now we're so lucky to have Ada Lavone here with us. Thank you so much for being here. That was so moving. I was getting goosebumps.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. Such a thrill.
I want to ask you, what made you want to write about Europa, and how did you find, I mean, truly the perfect words for that piece?
Oh, thank you. I think for me it was so incredible to be invited to write this poem. And when I was struggling with this incredible prompt and this incredible ask, I realized that it's not just a poem that's going to Europa, not just a poem that's on the Europa Clipper, but a poem that's for us. It's a poem for everyone here on Earth. And that was really important to me as I tried to choose the right imagery and the right language.
Mm-hmm. Not a tough ask at all.
No, not at all.
And not only that, but we're taking your poem with us. Yeah. So we have here a replica of the vault plate. This is the plate that's going, that is part of our vault on the spacecraft that's protecting all the sensitive electronics from all that radiation, and it's written in your own handwriting. Yeah. How does it feel knowing that a piece of you is going to Europa?
You know, one of the things that I keep focusing on is that it really is a poem for all of us. Mm-hmm. But when they asked me to do it in my own handwriting, my grandmother, who passed away a year ago, she was the one who taught me to really make my handwriting as perfect as could be. And every time I look at this piece, I feel like my grandmother is part of this project too.
I heard you had to rewrite it a few times to get it just right.
You think? Yes, many times.
The handwriting is as beautiful as the poem itself, I assure you.
Thank you.
And what do you hope people take away from this?
You know, I really hope that as we embark on this incredible voyage together, that we are reminded of the wonders all around us, that it's not just in these huge moments of exploration that wonders exist, but that they are everywhere around us all the time. Mm-hmm. And we can't be lonely if we are all connected to this universe.
Mm-hmm. Well put. Thank you so much. And I mean, one other note that I want to point out is, you know, Jenny has always talked about this, that mix between science and art. I mean, really, there is a connection that we should be talking about.
Yeah, I think that it's so important. In fact, we do ourselves a disservice when we separate arts and science because we're connected by curiosity and wonder.
Perfect. You are so well spoken. I see why you're the U.S. Poet Laureate. Ada, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And thank you for the beautiful piece of poetry you gave us for this mission.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been the honor of my life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you are inspired, really, as Ada was, to write about our universe and you want to write your own poetry, the QR code on your screen now is going to take you to a space poetry writing activity brought to you by NASA JPL. All right, another check of the clock. We are now 11 minutes, 51 seconds and counting from liftoff. Jenny, let's squeeze in a few more NASA social questions. What do you think?
Absolutely. I'm ready for them.
Okay, let's pull the one up on the screen right now. This one is, how can we convert images to evidence of valid life and organisms? If it's proven, what are the next steps?
Absolutely. So, you know, Europa Clipper is not a life detection mission, so we're not trying to prove that there is life there now. But what we are trying to do is characterize if this could be a habitable environment. And so, but even so, the images that we're going to get, we learn so much from images. Even just, looking at a photograph of the surface tells us a lot about the geology, why the surface looks the way it does. Why it looks like that. That can tell us what's going on underneath that causes the surface to look that way. And so that tells us about the ocean. So there's a lot that we can infer from even just looking at images of the surface.
Yeah. I mean, considering that you're talking about this, let's actually pull up a picture now. So, you said earlier that prior missions sparked our interest in Europa. Well, this is a 2022 pic from the Juno spacecraft taken from less than 310 miles above the moon's surface. And you see all those fractures. That's what Jenny was talking about, fractures, the ridges, the bands that crisscross the moon's surface. I mean, from this image, that's how you guys discovered that maybe there is something happening underneath there.
Absolutely. It's part of how we know that there is water underneath the ice. When you think about our moon is covered in craters, right? It's just pockmarked, and so many bodies in the solar system are that way as well. But Europa's surface is really different. There are some craters, but not very many, and that tells us that it is a kind of a young surface, at least geologically speaking, and that begs the question of why. So,
Right.
that was one of the avenues of scientific questioning that we had that led us to believe that there's water underneath the ice.
Right. So we know about Europa. Well, it is Jupiter's fourth largest moon and only slightly larger than our moon. It's really, really cold at Europa. Surface temperatures range from about minus 210 to minus 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists estimate its ice shell is 10 to 15 miles thick. Because of all that ice, Europa is six times brighter. And the spacecraft now on internal power. There is strong evidence of our ocean, of an ocean beneath that icy crust that could hold over twice the volume of Earth's oceans. And then Europa is Jupiter every 3.5 Earth days, with the same side always facing the planet. That is super fast.
That is 3.5. Think about that for a second. 3.5 days to orbit Jupiter. That's so fast.
Yeah. All right, and let's take a look at the launch countdown again. We are now 9 minutes and counting until Europa Clipper launches, and no issues to speak of right now. The weather conditions are fantastic. I mean, your screen right there. Jenny, how are you feeling?
I am just absolutely buzzing. Feeling very enthusiastic, a little bit nostalgic, just so really excited to get Clipper up into space where it belongs.
Yeah, I know this is super thrilling for you and the Europa team, but this is also a huge moment for astrobiologists and really the scientific community at large.
Absolutely. So astrobiology is kind of the study of how, life is distributed around the universe.
RP1 load is complete.
And so one of the things that I was really excited in our own solar system that could be habitable. And so this, going to see it means a lot for the astrobiology community and, of course, for humanity at large.
Well, Jenny, here we go with the final moments of the launch countdown. Let's head over to Daryl and Mick.
All right, thank you very much, ladies. And here at Hangar AE, we are continuing to monitor the launch countdown. And so far, we're at 10 minutes and counting. Listening to the launch teams, they are monitoring some temperature data coming from the second stage LOX line that goes to the engine there. They're gathering data.
Keep an ear and an eye on that. So far, everything else looks track okay.
Yeah, everything's proceeding forward with propellant load, and we did hear that stage 1 RP1 is complete on the three.
PY, RP1
So things are continuing to move forward there, and propellant loading will be finishing up here shortly as the team gets the vehicle ready.
The team at JPL and California also on console for their space just shifted their spacecraft to internal power.
Yeah, they started transitioning to internal power. We'll get full confirmation of that in about 2 minutes, but things are good to go, and things are looking good. Preparations for the spacecraft. Move forward.
Engine chill has started.
There we hear the call for booster engine. Chill started on the 27 Merlin engines, getting ready for a liftoff at 12:06 p.m. today.
T-minus 6 minutes and 45 seconds and counting for liftoff of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket with NASA's Europa Clipper spacecraft. At the very top, it is a beautiful day here in Florida for launching a rocket.
NYRP1 load is complete.
As we wrap up loading the RP1 in the first stage boosters, we've just seen all three go completely filled. Now we await for all three of the LOX tanks inside the first stage booster to get to their full point. You can tell they're most of the way there. As you look on your screen there, you see the cold, the icy cold rocket condensing that Florida air.
Yeah, the team's continuing to load second stage also with LOX, and we're getting very close. We can see on the telemetry here that the LOX load of the three boosters is getting near completion. The team is continuing to follow the procedures and look at the vehicle, make sure that we are good to go for a launch at 12:06. But things are progressing per the procedure, Darryl, and all is looking good for a great launch with this beautiful weather that we have at Launch Complex 39.
Coming up next, we are going to start configuring the tower, the strong back from the rocket. That happens in a little less than a minute.
We just heard from the SMD and NOM that the spacecraft is verified on internal power, and things are looking good for the Europa Clipper spacecraft.
We're also listening to the launch teams as they discuss the data coming in that they're looking at for the rocket.
Teams continue to follow the procedure, as I said, and work the loading of propellant, finishing up the topping of the 3 boosters and the second stage. As we mentioned earlier, the 3 boosters are expendable fully. They will not be coming back for landing today. SpaceX is getting the team ready to launch this vehicle today.
And you just heard the call out that the strong back is retracting. That strong back appears to have retracted. So we're getting some discussion on the nets regarding the second stage.
NY LOX load is complete.
As we just got completion of LOX load for the Y booster. We're looking for now the center core and the plus Y.
NLM, it's the LD on the
PY
countdown
LOX
net with
load
a final status check.
Yes, LD, this is NLM on countdown 1, NASA spacecraft, and the NASA team is go for launch pending resolution of the anomaly.
Copy. Go pending outbrief of the issue being discussed on the anomaly net.
Affirmative.
Okay, Tim, so they've mentioned that they're working an anomaly. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, they're monitoring some temperatures on the second stage, and things are the teams continue to look at that as they continue filling second stage with liquid oxygen. They're continuing to look at that and monitor
Center
that
core, LOX load
as
is
far
complete.
as they can into the count. So things are continuing to progress forward with LOX load. Center core is just finished up, so all 3 boosters are filled with LOX and RP1. The second stage has RP1 on, and we're getting near completion of stage 2 LOX load as the team continues to look at that temperature in the second stage. But we did hear NASA launch manager Tim Dunn tell Charlie Myers,
Stage 2
SpaceX
LOX
launch
load is
director,
complete.
that they are go for launch pending the resolution of this temperature issue. So the team has continued to work that, and the team will